I literally left that job to go work for a telemarketing job. Yes, a telemarketing job. So we've all seen those videos, the biggest regret of your 20s or things you shouldn't do in your 20s. I definitely wanted to put my spin on it because there's always those things that you just look back and you're like, man, if I hadn't done this, if I hadn't done that. For myself, if I could go back and tell myself one thing that I shouldn't have done, or if I could do it over, I know exactly what immediately comes to mind. Before I even turned 18, I saved up to pay cash for my first car. I didn't even have my license yet, but I was saving up to pay for my first car, and I paid $12.50 for a beautiful car that I miss so much. And what happened to that car? I worked at the mall, and it was literally right around Christmas time, so of course it was packed at this mall. I did something super irresponsible and ended up T-boning someone. Completely my fault, of course, and only had liability insurance on this car that was just about as old as me, and I totaled it. And so that was the end of my first car that I had been driving for about 2 months. And so then, of course, I'd gotten so used to having a car. It was the middle of winter, super cold temperatures. There was actually even an advisory on the news saying don't stand outside for too long because you will get frostbite. And I was sick of it. So what did I do? I went out and got my first car payment at a buy here, pay here. Looking back on it now, every time I drive past that place, I'm like, oh, but I did it, and it was a learning experience. I went there, got my car. I signed up for $300 a month car payments, not making a whole lot. But I wanted a car, and I was so used to being on wheels, and I didn't want to go without it anymore. I want to say that it had been at least 2 months since my accident, or maybe even like a month and a half or so. This car was actually older than me. The first day I got it, the muffler fell off. Anyway, I have another video explaining this whole situation and the whole reason that I regret this situation even more, and it will be linked in the description. But this new car I got caused me so much unneeded stress. After that, then I got another car payment, which I won't say that I regret that, but it's just a cycle at that point. I just think about at times where I would be if I had just continued to save up and pay cash for vehicles. Another big regret I have is I had such a good job working for a company, and it could have been something that had been a long career. The issue was that it was only part-time, and I had moved out literally at 18. I really needed a full-time job. I didn't have that with the place I was working with. I ended up quitting. I told my manager I was going to quit, but I didn't give a notice, and so then they wouldn't rehire me later. But I literally left that job to go work for a telemarketing job. Yes, a telemarketing job. I don't know what I was thinking. I worked there for a week and they fired me, and I was left with no job, zero income, with an apartment at 19 years old. So it's just one of those super just dumb decisions. Like, I immediately wanted to go back to the prior job, and they said, you didn't give us a notice, you can't work here for 2 years. I'm trying to decide which is worse, or which one I regret more out of those two things. Definitely the telemarketing job. So ultimately, with that apartment, a short time later, I ended up having to break my lease, move back home, because I didn't have money to pay for it, and I was trying to get other jobs, couldn't get other jobs. Just back then, you didn't have things like Uber Eats, Uber, Lyft. Like, back then, you just didn't have that. So I had to tuck my tail in and go back home. My third regret is not as big as the others, but still something I think back on, and obviously I still think about it now this many years later, so it must be really affecting me. I had switched phone companies. I can't even remember exactly which company I switched from and to. You know, they have those promotions sometimes where they say switch from this company to that company, phone company, and they'll give you a Visa gift card or whatever gift card to pay for your early termination fees with the other company. So I switched from one company to the other. After however many weeks, I got this Visa gift card in the mail. I want to say it was either $350 or $400 to pay for my early termination fees with the prior company. So what did I do? Did I pay my early termination fees? No. I instead use this gift card to buy stuff, go shopping, and pay a whole bunch of stuff that I don't even know now what I even bought. And so that really began my own debt-free journey, because then I owed money to the prior phone company that I then had to make a plan to pay back, because I didn't have $350 just sitting around. So I had to literally make a plan and get on a payment plan to pay this company back. And it was just so dumb. And it's just like, in my teenage years, just like early on, it's just like lapse of judgment, lapse of responsibility, just doing things that just don't make any sense. Like, at least I learned something from it now. And if you are someone in that age and you can learn anything from this video, don't be like me. Because I don't even know what I was thinking with half of these things, but it's part of your journey. There's nothing you can do to change the past. At the end of the day, if I could stop someone else from doing that, I think my job is done. Thank you for watching today's video. Please be sure to like the video. Comment down below, let me know what you could think of that you regret from your early years, and we will see you in the next video.